Welcome to the program. I've been asked to share with you very briefly the value, the benefit, the big why that a listing inspection can become of such tremendous value to you as the seller of the property. So what we're going to do is move rapidly along to give you some clear and comfortable understanding. Just as by a way of background, my name is Wally Conway from Home Pro Inspections. Many of you may have been familiar with our radio program, the Home and Garden Show, which is heard every single Saturday on News 104.5 WOKB from 6 until 8 a.m. if you're outside of the immediate Jacksonville area or just interested in seeing what we're doing there inside the studio. The show is live streamed on Facebook every single Saturday from 6 till 8 a.m. and then that recording just stays there on Facebook at the Home Pro Inspections Facebook page or myself, Wally Conway, Facebook page, and love to interact with you there at some point in the future. All righty. So why a listing inspection? That is a good and curious question. It's on your mind, and here is the big why. Because according to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, homes that are inspected prior to listing sell faster and at closer to the asking price. And ultimately, you're selling your home. You're putting it on the market because you want it to go away, and sooner is better, and you're putting it on it so you can cash out from it, and more is also better. So the data would sit and support that your home will sell in less time and for more money, closer to the asking price. Our friends at Zillow actually reward home sellers who have a listing inspection, and they ask this compelling question: why add a home inspection report to your listing? As you can see there in the lower left, because it makes your listing stand out. How do we know it makes it stand out? Is because Zillow makes it stand out. That is a choice they've made. It's something that your real estate agent will enter right into Zillow so that you'll have a favorable position amongst other homes, even in your own same neighborhood. The homes with a pre-listing inspection are marked as pre-listed right inside Zillow. They get more offers to maximize profit. That's what Zillow knows. They are the data meisters in this whole thing. They know that they sell quicker because they record the data. They know closer to asking price because they watch that. So homes with a pre-listing inspection also get more offers, and that also helps get that thing closed faster and for more money. Clarity is power, and ultimately that's the purpose of the inspection, is to be sure that you, in concert with your real estate agent, know exactly what you're putting on the market, and you know exactly what obstacles may come up so that you can prepare for them rather than be ambushed by them later when the seller comes along. So why do they sell faster? Very honestly, because it gives your real estate agent much more confidence. They know exactly what they're selling, exactly how to position it, how to market it, so they can be more aggressive in the marketing. Also, the selling agent, those agents who will be previewing your house and bringing their buyers by, they perceive fewer problems. It doesn't mean necessarily fewer problems with the home itself, but fewer problems getting it sold because they understand what any imperfections might be. And lo and behold, if there's no imperfections, that's even easier. And there's reduced buyer fear. When the buyer knows that the home has been pre-inspected, they're more likely to look at it, they're more likely to make an offer, and they're more likely to make an offer closer to that asking price. Why closer to the asking price? Because very truthfully, there's a greater likelihood the home will be correctly priced. It's so critical that your home is priced correctly. The idea of overpricing it to see what happens in the long run, that's destructive. You'll be making more mortgage payments, and also agents, as they're coming to preview homes, usually only come once. And when you etch it in their mind that it's overpriced, there's a fair chance they're not coming again, nor are they showing it to their customers. And if there's any imperfection in the house, we're going to deliver that thought to you compassionately and objectively so that you can understand, not that you didn't do good or your house isn't wonderful, rather it's really helping you prepare for the perspective that a potential buyer will bring and or that potential buyer's home inspector. First offer closer to the asking price. That's what we want. By pricing it correctly, ideally we'll see offers come in, this is very common, above the asking price. Get a little bidding war going on. Fewer contingencies. The goal is to have an as-is sale. When we do a good job with the listing inspection, they know exactly what the condition is and a much higher likelihood of an as-is sale with no repair request at all. Fewer surprises after the contract. There's nothing worse than you've done a beautiful job of preparing your home, and lo and behold, there was something you were just truly unaware of it, maybe on the roof or up in the attic or places you don't typically go. You don't want that to come up later, because when it comes up later, that buyer is going to ask for some remedy. And a remedy is either a repair, a replacement, or reduction in price, and in no case is that favorable to you. At fewer points of negotiation, we don't want them to negotiate. We want them to make an offer that's acceptable to you, and move on toward closing. So what's the benefits to you of the seller? Better price positioning. If it's positioned correctly, it's going to move rapidly. Reduce liability to you as the seller because the disclosure is objective. Your real estate agent will likely ask you to provide a seller disclosure form. That's not your area of expertise. You really don't know how to fill that out correctly in spite of your best intentions. The other thing is, you may have been in your house 2, 3, 4 years, and it may be 10, 20, 30, or 40 years old. So even with the best of intentions and the best of knowledge, you don't want to be responsible for that disclosure. All we ask is that you're truthful with us so that we can represent what you know, blend it with what we discover, so we're as accurate and objective as possible. That as is sale, that is the holy grail. That's what you really want. And control over the repair process. There's no reason you need to make repairs after the home inspection. If in discussions with your real estate agent you feel that's the best thing to do to optimize your price positioning and net the most dollars in the end, you can choose to do that. However, what you don't want to happen is not to make any repairs, not to disclose the repairs, and then have the buyer ask you to do repairs later. So you really want to have that conversation with your agent, get the information after the inspection, and determine, shall I make repairs now while I'm in complete control? Shall I adjust price? What is the best way to optimize my goals? Seller objections. Now, what have we heard over the years from folks just like you, the seller of the home, of why you don't want to do it? The most common is there's nothing wrong with your home. Well, it may be that to the best of your knowledge, there's nothing wrong with your home, meaning nothing that a buyer will bring up. Historically, we know after 35,000 inspections, that just doesn't play out. It ends up harming you when things are discovered later. Not doing the repairs, if you don't want to do the repairs, that's okay. What it's about is disclosure and proper price positioning. There's also a fear by some that too much disclosure will scare buyers away. It's exactly the opposite. Buyers are attracted to that pre-listed house. It gives them a, you might say, a free peek. They can get a real good objective look at the house to their eye, blend it with the inspector's eye. They didn't spend any money. That'll get more people in your home. The buyer won't accept the inspection. Some buyers accept the inspection and don't get another one. Some buyers want the same company to come back and inspect it again, and some want a completely second or distant inspector. In either case, it's all just fine. And what if that buyer's inspector finds more wrong? Sometimes they do. Sometimes something's changed. Sometimes in working with your agent, you're staging the house or preparing the house, new things are discovered, and it is honest to say that sometimes one inspector has a difference of opinion from another, and even at times one may miss something. But the goal is have as few issues as humanly possible. Often the seller will tell us not to mention any cosmetics. It's interesting, the buyer wants to hear about the cosmetics. So we point them out to you as the seller. They'll be clear and apparent to the buyer, and you just move on and not even worry about it. And some say, I don't want to pay for the inspection. I understand that, and that's a conversation to have with your real estate agent to figure out the best way to get that done so that you net the most amount of money. Benefits to the listing agent. You know, your listing agent is very involved in selling your home, and we want it to be good for them too. Listing presentation differentiation. The very fact that your agent is proposing this to you is very different than what most of their peers do. It takes a much more sophisticated agent to have these conversations and a much more sophisticated agent to execute this process so that it brings that sale to you in the least amount of time at the highest possible price. It's also simpler disclosures. The listing agent can be much more comfortable in sharing disclosures from a home inspector as opposed to the homeowner. And very often, depending on the scenario, the person presently disposing of the home, selling the home, has no idea at all. They're out of town, or sometimes it's been in probate, other things of that sort. Reduced agent and broker liability. It is in fact true that there is great risk to the real estate agent in how this moves forward. That risk rests with the home inspection company when we're involved doing the pre-listing inspection. Fewer and simpler repair issues, absolutely. Much higher probability of an as-is sale, and much higher probability that you'll be able to control the process. Higher commissions. It is very rare that the discount leaders in real estate are involved with this. It takes people who know what they're doing, who bring great value. And point of fact, it rarely is there a need for them to discount because they're bringing so much value through this process and a faster payday. That's good for the agent. Here again, the Zillow data that I share with you by adding the home inspection, things are going to be featured more prominently in Zillow. You're going to get more offers. The home will sell sooner, and it will sell for closer to the asking price. The data supports that. Change your thinking, change your world. That's something we're fond of saying here at Home Pro Inspections. When you're willing to think a little bit differently, do things a little bit differently, what you'll discover is you'll have a very different outcome than the majority of homeowners who overprice their house, don't properly disclose the house, and it sits there for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year or longer, and ultimately net considerably less money. I hope you've enjoyed this and it was of value or benefit to you. Please reach out to your agent. They can discuss the finer points with you, and if I can be of any particular help, you can easily reach me through the website. You have a beautiful day.